natural development of self-confidence. The fact that we are where we are finds history in its color. For of all the Grand Lodges in the region of Central and South America and the Caribbean, only Haiti has its origin in an African heritage. Let me urge you to remember that we must not seek to work from a state of perfection, but to work to attain perfection. Should we wait until absolute consensus says that we are ready for the expression of ourselves, we'll be out there in the wilderness of uncertainty for yet another century. I have been talking consistently about the Grand Lodge of Jamaica for at least the last 20 years, and still the land waits to hear what I have to say. Seems it all depends on doing what there is to do well. Perhaps only time will better tell the candid story, that none of the Grand Lodges have sought to bind us to themselves. It is us that have made that peculiar choice. Indeed, as I understand it, we are mere symbols of a declined empire, who may even be proving to be a negative cost on the mother Grand Lodges to maintain. So instead of the tired act of seeking to try to justify the formation of a Grand Lodge, I think that it is time we move this conversation to the inspirational and aspirational level, where we ignore but not forget where we have been, and look to what we will do for future generations of Freemasons. For it must be an unintended slight that 62 years after gaining independence, anyone would ask me to justify our ability to manage a branch. I will though remind you that we are bright, even if a bit aggressive, but ambitious men who pray for the best for our sons. Be it then not time that we begin to work for that goal. It is such that we cannot delay another 50 years to start what we should have already been. That is, a home in a house that is our own. Lord of the manor, not dependent upon a landlord thousands of miles away, who though he has a history of patience, tolerance, kindness, and love, himself must know who wish to see us grow into this over long delayed Masonic manner. It is so that rather than rehashing the things I have already said, I will seek to remind you of what you must be aware and beware of. Number one, the Grand Lodge of England was formed in a pub, what we call a bar, by 3 lodges. It overcame the challenge of a competitive Grand Lodge to become the strong and rich united Grand Lodge that it is 300 years later. In the meantime, the Grand Lodge of Ireland has survived even the division of their country. The Grand Lodge of Scotland ranks behind the Irish Grand Lodge only because of the difficulty of getting agreement for a Grand Lodge with the Masonic entities that existed independently from time immemorial. This is what is responsible for the liberality of its lodges, the liberality its lodges enjoy, such as freedom with ritual and dress, and a certain amount of unusual independence in how they conduct their affairs. And please do not forget that each lodge will have the option to remain attached to their present Grand Lodges as independents in a future where there will be room enough for a united Grand Lodge of Jamaica or of the Caribbean even. In considering this local Grand Lodge, the kind of stewardship we must encourage pays due attention to youth, character, and the Masonic accomplishment of those we will select to lead. Feel free to make your additions here. We must persist in seeking the support of the other English and Irish constitutions that work here. But if we do not, we must press on to form a Scottish Grand Lodge. The political power play that so have the power to diminish rather than build must at all costs be avoided in laying its foundation. Most importantly, brotherly love, benevolence and charity, education and elocution must rank high in the setting of the building blocks. How to tame the kingmakers and address the anxieties of young Freemasons must be among our greatest concern. The friend-friend nepotistic system that raises its ugly head from time to time to influence the distribution of collars and trinkets must be discouraged and left behind. How we structure a Grand Lodge and elect or select our officers must be prime concern when we consider its constitution and laws. And the Grand Lodge of England it is good to know that the Grand Lodge of England has a permanent Grand Master who is of royal blood.